Okay, we should be live right now. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know, chat, if you can throw up a 1 if I'm coming through loud and clear on audio. Just checking in to make sure you guys can hear me. Good. Joyce, thank you. Joyce dropping the 1. Appreciate it, Joyce. All right, let's say hey to some people. We will get into tonight's subject matter. A lot to talk about. A lot of consolidation today, looks like, in our stock. Yeah. A lot to talk about. All right, let's get into this. Let's say hey to some people, and then we'll really bring it. Dufresne, good evening. Grandpa Barney. Hong Kong coming in the chat. Move over, Robo. How you doing tonight, Grandpa? Tony is in the house. How you doing tonight, Mr. De Niro? Good to see you. Michael, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you tonight. Thanks for coming by, hanging out. Tony's saying finger files, 300 million S3 this afternoon. CEO handbook. Oh, boy. The finger and GTII crowd. Life-changing wealth. Okay. Badonk is in the house. He says, can't believe I'm awake for the live stream. Yeah, we're trying to go a little early tonight. I'm trying to catch more East Coast, my East Coast people. Yeah, T. People are starting to learn. Some are, right? Broke Ape, how you doing tonight? Good evening. How are you, my friend? I see Joyce is in the house. Yes. Dana, how you doing tonight? What's 10th? Did I put 10th? Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy, how you doing tonight? You still up, girl? Doing good. Dream of stuff. Good to see you tonight. How are you? Everybody's showing Grandpa the love. Meagle is in the house saying bye, DME. Ultra Ape, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing all right. Interesting day today. We didn't come down. What was our lowest price today? 703 or something. Let's see here. It was 734. We had a low of 705. So we're holding steady at that 7 number. Now, whether or not that is our bottom is to be determined, right? But 2 days in a row, we'll be hanging out, kind of bouncing in that price range and showing consolidation right there. Maybe an indicator, right? Gus says, do you think, we're just talking about this, do I think 705 is the bottom for AMC? 70 cents a stock? That sounds like a good price. Is it the bottom? Not sure yet. But we're starting to, our chart's starting to develop, right? So hanging around this area for the last couple of days, haven't seen a drop below 7. But we could have said that when it was at 10 or 11 or 9. So do we think this is the bottom? Not sure. I actually want to wait to see if it does come down a little bit more. Every penny counts. Lucy's saying 705, right? Yes. Ultra Ape, good evening tonight. Dario D, how you doing? Tommy B's in the house. Thomas B dropping that knowledge last night about his Webull account. If you guys didn't catch on the live stream, I tried to rob him for $100 on Webull. He had a sizable position. But again, pre-reverse split, if that's on a systematic level with other people, a lot of investors are seeing that. That's a lot of money. Grandpa says, hey, I would like to ask if you're going to call me out on KC Live, be a man enough to use my name. I don't think, did I do that, Grandpa? Truth is sometimes hard to suck in. Maybe a long time ago, Grandpa. I might have put something in the comments. I'm not sure. You definitely have to refresh my memory. What did Webull say? I'm still waiting for a reply back from them. Still waiting, Tom. Haven't got. Let me just double check right now. I'm assuming if it hasn't come in yet, they haven't sent the email. Hang on. Let me just check my email one more time. Yeah, no, they haven't responded yet. But I did send it a little late, so maybe that's why. Owning the float, Mike, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by and supporting the channel and everyone else. Good to see you, man. Oh, Grandpa says, not me. Okay. I was like, man, I watch KC sometimes, just because I think he's got great info on a day-to-day basis, right? As far as updating people on all the specifics about the market and especially in AMC. So, and again, I think he does help provide a service to newer investors, no matter what his bottom line message is. In fact, he goes on there every day. I give the man a lot of credit for that. So, Brian C, how you doing tonight? Good to you. Thanks for coming by. Oh, Lucy. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. Owning the float says, Grandpa Barney, I love you, brother. Tony's hold is dead. Uncle Barney speaks the hard facts. Yeah. Evolve or die. Grandpa Barney said it last night. And, I think he worded it perfectly by saying doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is lunacy. And that wasn't the exact quote, but it was something close to that. And he's absolutely right. Talking about 800, 900 days now. We've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, or however long you've been in this stock. For me, we got to be close to 1,000 days. Let's say 2 calendar years plus a half. Yeah, long time. But Donk says KC is a good man. Yeah, I think, again, what the services he provides this community, I think are, excellent, right? As far as helping people understand the technicals of the market and on a day-to-day basis, whether or not the overall message will work and the strategy that they're using. Again, as I said last night, it hasn't happened so far, but only time will tell. I can't keep with that mentality of just buying, holding, and praying. I don't want to get into that too much tonight because I've talked about it the last 2 nights. I do want to talk a little bit about the money and the lawsuit, and a couple other things. Mike says, Mass, do you think the shorts are scared when it comes to AMC? Not particularly. Not right now. Like, yeah, we've shored up the balance sheet a little bit. We had our first profitable quarter. Everything they're doing is helping the company and making it, a more appealing stock, I think, overall, especially at this price. But do I think the shorts are scared? No, I wouldn't be. Broke Ape says frustrated. David, how you doing today? David says buy and hold or roll over and sell. So again, I'm not preaching selling. Definitely that is not my message, and it wasn't the last 2 nights. I did not preach to anyone should sell their shares. I just said going forward, my buying strategy was going to change. I would not give them my shares back at this price. I'd rather see them go to zero, which just for principle at this point. I'm so fed up. Tony says I bought some Friday, and today, David, I just did not ride the dilution train down. Yep. And people who were smart and understood, what was coming, and we talked about it. We talked about it for, a while on the live streams that this dilution would be coming, and sure enough. Beverly says you're disappointing, Mass. Wish you well, Beverly. Thank you. I wish you well as well. I just, the buy and hold strategy isn't working for me anymore. And as I said, I'm going to hold all my shares that I bought up until, and I said this last year, anything that I bought and up to a certain point, I'm not going to mess with, right? I will hold those for some type of amazing squeeze that we might see. But, I'm worried that preaching this buy and hold is hurting a lot of people. And I don't think I can keep doing that over and over and over again. At some point, I'm starting to realize that the forces we're up against are much mightier than us. I mean, no one got in trouble for what happened in January of 2021. And that's an indicator that if they were allowed to get away with that then, how many gray areas and loopholes will they use that are at their disposal to crush us, right? I mean, if you can get away with something that is that blatant and clearly illegal, then who's to say that you're just not going to be much smarter going forward on how you proceed in trying to short companies into bankruptcy and make a mint? And we tried to do the protest, that didn't work. And someone mentioned last night about 2008 that we need another Occupy Wall Street. Literally back in 2008, there was a protest that lasted, weeks on end, where people camped out all over Wall Street, brought, international news and attention to everything. And here we sit 15 years later, and we're actually in a worse position than we were back in 08. So much of that's done, right? Super Steven says, nobody is selling. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not to recommend anyone to sell. Definitely that is not my message. I hope that's been made clear. Mike says, selling when I did was the best thing I could have done, and it was attacked for no regrets. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the DD was done. I think a lot of people understood beforehand what we were going to see happen, and they called it 100% correct. And whether or not you chose to act on that information, and then the following, which was preceded by a dilution, which we are seeing right now, it all came to fruition. Now, where I did get it wrong, and I can admit this, was I never thought in a million years they would be able to short this down to levels we're seeing now. Because pre-split, that would have meant that, we dropped 90% off a $4 price. Is that a fair market evaluation for AMC? I don't think so. But Donk says, I'm a little OCD, so it's easy for me to buy and hold. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to hold all those shares, right? Just anything I buy going forward, be very cautious on how long I decide to hold that stock for. If I see a chance to take some profits, since I haven't been able to do that in 2.5 years, now is the time. And it's working for some people. Ellie is in the house. Ellie, how you doing tonight? She says, I know we can play options to make some extra money and go into crypto, but for those of us stuck in AMC, which is me too, hello, I'm here with you, Ellie. I got a large position. All we can do is average down. I know I'm not selling, and again, I'm not telling anyone to sell. That is not my message. I'm just saying, going forward, for me, myself, I'm going to be extremely cautious about buying and just holding and praying that the market corrects itself to a proper valuation for AMC. Lucy says, Mass, might as well do NPC videos while waiting for AMC to pop. Popcorn so good. Gang, gang. Dion's in the house, says, hey, Mass. Dion, how you doing tonight? Let's see. Swisha, good to see you in the chat tonight. DBO Popcorn says, I bought 32 shares today. Took my average down to 802. When I get my money back, I'm selling and never touching AMC again. Loud and clear, heard, man. I got you. I get the disappointment. Dario D says, how is it possible that on Webull it says 90% cost average is $8 to $13? That's impossible. My one average went to 40, and I got another broker down to 23. It takes a lot of money to. Who are your brokers, Dario? Oh, Webull. Who was the other broker? David says they're selling a product they don't have. I want to find out. Yes, the forces and the tyrannical globalists. I buy not for me, but the future people who should experience freedom. And David, that was one of the reasons why I got into this whole movement, right? In the first place. That's what inspired me to come on and start making a channel. But besides the fact that I was seeing these crazy videos coming out about, $500,000 a share and $100,000 a share. That was also my motivation, but it was really, just for the future of retail traders to fix some of these systems that are in place that are hurting your every average, everyday who doesn't have the access to Bloomberg terminal, right? But yeah, they're selling a product that they don't have. I mean, it would be so nice if we could, and I know we're never going to get this, but I'd love to see how many shares are held right now by retail. Broke Ape says, I bought 30 at $9.99. Wish we still had Ape about now. Mike says, Mass, what comes first? AMC to 5 or AMC to 10? Based off the last couple days, to be honest with you, based off the last couple days, if nothing changes with market conditions and there's no announcements made from AMC, that's a tough question. Maybe I just shouldn't answer that. Maybe I just shouldn't answer that question. But everyone's saying AMC to 10. If I had to lean one way, I'd go Mike. Just because we've seen a little consolidation here at this price, around $7.5. How many days in a row? So on Wednesday, Thursday, September 7th. So we got 3 days now of the chart to look at. I would lean towards 10. We got 3 days of consolidation around this price target. Yeah, I would lean towards 10. Sharkbite says, what's up, Mass? You need to start a journalism type channel. I like it when you get political. Get it. So I'm definitely going to be doing that, man. We talked in the last couple of nights about some of the things that have happened recently. And I'm very nervous about the next 12 to 14 months, the direction this country is headed. I just saw there was a huge protest over the weekend in my home state because they were bringing 200 migrants down to Cape Cod to put them up in a hotel. And the people there are freaking out. But Massachusetts went overwhelmingly for Joe Biden. So all the people out there in Yarmouth, Massachusetts, bitching about this, you voted for this. These are the consequences of open borders. But yeah, Sharkbite, I'm going to be working on that. We're going to be talking a lot about that stuff coming up. Just the whole thing with it, indictments and seeing the Constitutional Republic and grew up in and loved getting stripped away slowly but surely. But Donkey says, Mass, can you please check and see who banned Danny? Could your mods check, please? Yes, Lucy, could you check and see if someone banned Danny? I think she has access to it. Sleepy Joe. He said last night he was going to bed. He also said today that he was at Ground Zero on the day after 9/11, which was interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought he was in D.C. At the Capitol, but yeah, he mentioned today that he was there and he looked at the pits of hell. So, but what I find fascinating is they didn't send him to the memorial today to, give a speech or anything. He went to a military base in Alaska, on a refueling stop, and gave a speech. I mean, you can't get any farther away unless you were in Hawaii from New York. But you know who was there was the vice president. She made an appearance. Again, I don't know what they are trying to do here, but it seems like there is some coordination going on here between mainstream media attacking Joe Biden and also continuing to ask Kamala just recently how she feels, if she's ready or not to step in and take over as the president at any moment. I think the writing is on the wall. And what that means for the rest of us, for the economy, I don't know. I know Wall Street, Wall Street was she was the darling for Wall Street, right? She got some of the biggest endorsements and had some of the biggest fundraisers when she was running against Joe Biden back in 2020. So I don't think they'll have a problem with it. The rest of us might. Broke says we are doomed. Ryan's in the chat. Ryan says we explode when AA dilutes and it's coming any day now. I saw I saw something again about the dropping of the shares causing the price to go up. And someone was talking about the different types of offerings and the pros and cons of them to retail. Broke says, Mass can't wait till he's able to put important literature back up as his backdrop. Yeah, man, I know. That's one thing I miss. I miss my studio and having everything in the background. That's it's a bummer, right? It sucks. But I had no choice. I had to leave that place. And I put everything into storage that I thought was important. I put them all in there. Hopefully someday I'll have enough money where I can go back home and get my own place and take it out of storage and make another studio. Hopefully. But so far my portfolio's taken a smash in the last 2.5 years, and a lot of money has been sucked out by these institutions. Super Steven says, anything you can tell me what a share count? Well, obviously the share count right now is what, 150 something. I would just love to know how many shares are actually listed on ledgers in people's accounts. Like, how many do you think? Do you think right now, after a reverse split, we don't own the float? I don't know, man. But yeah, the share count is what it is, right? It's 150 some odd million right now. And before the reverse split, it was 500 and something, right? Ellie says we have a lot of gaps to fill on the upside. 90% of the time, gaps get filled. The higher ones are at 83 and 210. In time, we may fill them. In time, we may. And that's another thing, right? The wording of everything. Like, I see a lot of people using, not deceptive, I would say, but the language is important sometimes. The dog says, never give up, never surrender, Mass. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Rob says, if AMC goes to $5, best believe another RS is coming. Well, that would be rough. I don't know if I can go through another RS. That would maybe be a signal to me to get out of this. I mean, not that I didn't know what happens when reverse splits take place in the market, right? We've seen a million examples of reverse splits and how it is not good for a company. But again, does Adam ARON feel like he has his hands tied right now and he's got to do what he's got to do to make money? I just saw something crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Someone mentioned last night for Q4 that Aquaman 2 was coming out and would be a big movie. I know it did $1 billion. The first one did $1 billion. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Jason Momoa. I saw an article, someone saying that they had lost all the footage for Aquaman 2. Here's Business Insider. Let me see if I can see what they're saying here. I'll put up for you guys. Share screen. Boom. But this is supposed to be one of our big releases, right? For Q4. Aquaman 2. So let's see. Superhero movie raked in at $1 billion at the box office, making the most profitable DC movie ever. With just over 3 months to go until it is released, fans have seen next to no footage from Wan's sequel, and there's plenty of speculation online as to why. Lack of a trailer or other promotional materials for Aquaman on the platform. Discussion. So on Sunday, DC fans pointed out there's 100 days to go before it releases in theaters. And Yeah, this is not what I saw today. I saw something today about them losing all of the footage that they shot for the movie, all digital I, I don't know. This is a tweet here from someone. With only 3 months away from release, and we've seen nothing about this film, no teaser, no trailer. It's going to bomb. Warner Bros. Knows it. That's why they have given up on it. So again, that wouldn't be good news for us, right? That would be a problem. Biggest releases that did 1.14 billion in the first release, and this could have something to do with the writers and actors strike. I don't know, right? Because they're not working post production right now. But it seems like we're coming into a very tumultuous time right now. If we can pull out the 3 billion box office for Q3, which we're closing in on, but there's no guarantees we're going to make that number. But I would hate to see 2 profitable quarters in a row and then all of a sudden, Q4 bombs, and has nothing to do with retail or AMC or Adamant or any of that, but just based off the fact that the studios will not comply with the demands of the unions. So, Super says, don't. Yeah, I know, Steven, you're not a fan of DC films, huh? Honestly, I really enjoyed The Last Batman. I really did. I thought that was a great movie. Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. But in general, I'm not a huge DC fan. This is true. Grandpa Barney says his pits of hell are coming when he meets God. I think he's talking about Papa Joe. Adam says short some puts last week in my IBKR account, but holding in my Fidelity account. Yeah, same here, Adam. That's what I'm doing with all my Webull shares. Everything that I bought pre last week are just getting stuck there. I'm going to hold those off until I get desperate. But right now, I just got to work with what small dry powder I have and make it go as far as I can make it. Yeah, if you guys remember to smash the thumbs up when you come in, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Brocape says, is it true Sleepy falls asleep at every... Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You would think he'd get plenty of sleep on Air Force One, but every time he gets somewhere, he's either ready to go to bed or already asleep. And then he called Vietnam a third world country. And Latrine Jean-Pierre had to pull him off the stage. God damn. I'm a professional. Says, statistically, a lot of you here voted for this nonsense. Thanks. Oh. Super Steven says, Massalorian, do you believe synthetics and AMC could crash the entire stock market? No, Super Steven. I don't. Tommy B says, Mass, you or Tony ever put AMC chart on top VE? Yeah, a Volkswagen? Yes, someone asked me to do that last night. And it's just, I've seen so many different YouTubers out there put charts, corresponding charts over each other to show something. And I feel like, there's a million ways to manipulate that to make it say what you want it to say. Really, since the reverse split, this is a totally different entity, right? Like, again, we're still in that discovery phase in the market of what AMC is actually worth. Adam Presents says, I've watched TD and heard his guidance seems to be working. Yes, they've been onto the story for a while. And we've talked about it here in the live streams, right? We talked about dilution split. And, APE was at discount prices. If Zern was going to approve, right? It all hindered on that. Regular Potato says, hey, y'all, how you doing tonight? But yeah, Tom, I just, again, for me doing that and comparing it to Volkswagen, and it doesn't happen, and someone comes, in the future and says, you showed me the Volkswagen chart over AMC, and I said everything that next Tuesday morning. Like, anyone can do that. If anyone would like, you can go grab the AMC chart, put it over the Volkswagen chart, take a look at them, and make a decision from that. I'm trying not to lean into things I can't prove. And that's been one of the hardest things about this whole damn thing. Speaking of which, I'm going to play this real quick. And for everyone out there who's been talking a lot about ARON, you know, not wanting to do anything about the crime and manipulation that's going on, I just want to play this for you. Okay. Screen share. There we go. All right. Here we go.
Called naked shorting, still front and center in the Reddit trade, many pointing to the recent swings in AMC being driven by so-called naked shorts, the illegal practice of short selling a stock without actually locating that stock to borrow. So is naked shorting happening in this market? Our next guest says, yes, it is. Let's bring in Jacob Frankel, former SEC enforcement lawyer. He's now a partner at Dickinson Wright. Be with us.
Good to be back with you.
Simple as that. Naked shorting exists in this market, even though it's an illegal practice.
Well, it's not entirely illegal, but yes, in the large cap market, it absolutely would be illegal if a party is unable to locate the shares, borrow the shares, deliver the shares. Yes, under those circumstances, it is illegal, and it's something that's been going on in the market for a long time. Really has happened here is companies like GameStop, AMC, all these meme stocks have brought naked short selling really to the forefront of the market's interest. This is something that's going on for a very long time in the small cap market and is very much a problem.
Is it, can you give us an idea of how big of a problem? You said it's existed for a long time. Is it rampant? Is it in small pockets of the market? Why isn't the SEC doing something about it if it is in fact illegal?
The short answer is I think it's difficult to find, and it's also not a sexy type of case. I mean, the fact is the SEC has not brought many naked short cases. I mean, they did bring one about 3 weeks ago, so in 2021, involving more than 90 naked short sales from December 26th through July 2017. Broker-dealer made $1.6 million in commissions. It took 4 years for the SEC to bring that case. 2012, case against the Wolfson brothers, same thing. It took the SEC 5 years to bring a case, and what they charged were stock locate issues, order marking, failure to borrow, delivery violations. We're not seeing charges of fraud or manipulation. I think the reason for that is these cases are hard to find, they're tedious to put together, and it really is a challenge for the SEC to bring these cases. But now that it is in the discussion, hopefully we will see more naked short cases, and particularly seeing it charged as fraud or manipulative activity.
Jacob, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. So if I were to try to think about how much of this naked shorting is actually going on in, let's say, an AMC, is that a lot of intraday shorting like we were talking about during the commercial break? Is it up to an option expiration and then kind of gets flattened out? How is it, do you think, around, aside from those two things?
Well, that's really the challenge. Is we really don't know, because a lot of it turns on, it's a very firm, specific analysis. Is there coordination? Is there manipulative activity? Is it intraday, as you point out? I mean, when I was at the Commission and Enforcement, I did a manipulation case that involved marking the close at a quarter end, looking only at 30 minutes of trading. It does not have to be over an extended period of time. The issue is identifying it. And the people who see it or see it most closely are those who are in the market. And then the question then is, are they willing to bring that information directly to the attention of the SEC, which often then means also poking around in that company's books. So I should also add, the shellers for a long time, and to this day, are an important source of information for the SEC's enforcement division. By no means do I want to suggest the SEC has turned a blind eye. On the other hand, we really have not seen that many cases over the years involving fraud on the short side.
I like how you say you don't want to say the SEC is turning a blind eye, but basically implying that the SEC is turning a blind eye, because that's exactly what you're doing, Jay. I mean, if I'm watching this, I'm thinking, you know what? The SEC doesn't want to investigate the source of so many tips that it gets into other manipulative practices or deceptive practices, et cetera.
But in fairness, it also is a matter of the information actually being brought to the attention of the SEC. In other words, while the SEC has powerful tools, if you think about it, you know, what would satisfy the market most from an enforcement perspective? To see a naked short case brought quickly, so it has an impact. And I shared with you two examples where it took 4 years and 5 years to actually bring the case. The problem is the agency needs to see the conduct, be able to identify it, and then, you know, look at the broker-dealer, look at the broker-dealer's record, look at the fund's record, look at the trader's records, talk to individuals. These are very tedious cases to put together, and I think as we have a heightened sensitivity to this issue in the market, being brought to the forefront by higher profile companies and higher profile meme trading activity, maybe we will more likely see more cases in this area. But up until now, we only have seen we've only seen short sale fraud cases, activity in the small cap market, because that tends to be a much lower hanging fruit.
Jacob.
So there it is, right? That was a former SEC attorney spitting some facts. How do we, if the SEC doesn't want to see something, they're not going to see it. And let's just talk about this for 1 minute, and then I'll get back to the comments real quick. If there were to be an investigation done by the SEC that uncovers a rampant amount of naked shorting, illegal short selling, spoofing, you know, all these different things, rehypothecation, that would send a signal to the world that the stock market is a fraud. Would that crash the stock market? Possibly. AMC might not do it, not the synthetics of AMC. But if all of a sudden there was a story to come out and broadcast to the world that for the last 2.5 years, the SEC has sat back and watched these manipulative practices take place and hasn't done anything about it, what signal does that send to investors from around the world? And I'm talking about big investors like the Saudis and, you know, people who have hundreds of billions of dollars invested in the market. Well, they're going to pull their money out. That might crash the market. So bringing a case like this to the forefront and exposing it for the SEC, nobody, and I mean nobody in the financial world wants that to happen. So if that's the case, what makes us believe that they're going to do something about it? Regular Potato says AA is not on our side for sure. He is on the side of his company. And I think it's important to understand that I don't believe I know this is up for debate, but that he's, helping the shorts and his hedge fund buddies and all that. His duty is to the company at the end of the day, right? And for that first 1.5 years, when that good dilution could have happened, and maybe we'll watch the video later of Jim Cramer talking to Adam Aron about good dilution. Again, I just want to keep it real with you guys that I don't think they want to find anything wrong with the market. They want it to continue to run smoothly, right? The market's up right now. We've been in the bull market for a while. With the greater uncertainty in the rest of the financial sectors and the way that they have kind of sacrificed in order to keep propping up Wall Street, they've sacrificed, raising interest rates on everybody so that they can do that, right? But regular potato, I as far as being on our side, he needs to keep the company afloat, or else then really, if he can't keep this company profitable, we have no shot. No shot. Zero. Joyce says down to 450 shares already. Tony says, I saw an article that said that Aquaman 2 was being canceled. Now I'm confused. Did you really, T? Jesus. Again, why it's so important to be able to raise this money for AMC. Because if we do come into an issue in Q4, it's a way they can shore up the books, right? And make sure that maybe we can continue to see profits. Table Rock says, my weed stocks did great today. Good, man. That's good. I like to see retail taking W's. Good to see. Let me try to catch up in the chat here. Oh, man, I'm way behind. Sorry. Let me catch up here. I'll say hey to some people as I go along. Adam Presents, how you doing tonight? I saw Madix in here. You put thumbs down. He's not happy. Let's see who else I missed. Anya, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Bell Creek Laser. Brian C. Brian C says it becomes a confirmation bias issue when you start trying to overlay and manipulate data like that. Yeah, again. I got enough manipulation in my life. I don't need any more, right? And I'm certainly not going to add that to you guys' plate. Tony says overlaying VW on AMC sounds like clickbait. No, Thomas, I'm not saying I know you have good intentions, man. You're one of the most loyal guys I get on here. I would never question that. It's the other people who are proposing you do that and giving false hope. Let's see. Dario says, I think the latest one is overlaying overstock. Yeah, I mean, we can do this all day, right? We really could. And it's great for clicks. And it gives you something to talk about, and it's material, right? I'm not doing that here on this channel. I have tried to be as consistent and forthcoming as I can with you guys on what my thoughts are. And that's all they are, really, is my thoughts. And we have this chat so I can hear all of you guys and what your thoughts are. And we discuss, right? Dominic says, yeah, real difficult to find if you're looking the other way. And again, I think that's on purpose, Dominic, right? First of all, if Gary Gensler exposes something after he put out the GameStop report last year, right? If it comes to knew this whole time that something like this was going on and he did nothing about it, I mean, the SEC would they would probably, cease to exist. There is no point of having them if they're just going to sit back and watch, right? P, how you doing tonight? Good to see you in the chat. Badonk says, I remember Trey saying to play puts, and people wanted to feed him to the wolves. SEC is a joke. Ed Backwater says, the SEC has neither the funds, the lawyers, the office space, nor will they get this shit straightened out. And again, why I've been talking the last couple of days about, just hoping for the best and how I'm done with that, right? I got to start thinking proactively in the market. Ed's right? Cuban old fat man says SEC is control. Rands, how you doing tonight? Rand says, what's up? SEC is control. What they do care is how they make money, same as the White House. Yeah, they're underfunded too, right? On top of everything else. And the amount of time, like that SEC lawyer just brought up with Melissa Lee there, these cases take time. You need all of the evidence, and then you're talking about money to fund it, right? And instead, as we see, the SEC would much rather make commercials about retail traders and how we're stupid. MC, thank you, bro. Appreciate you very much. Keeping the channel alive. Good to see you, my friend. J-Dog says SEC can't even afford coffee creamer. Right. And when Jon Stewart asked Gary Gensler and said, I think retail traders are a little suspicious right now that the SEC isn't doing their job, his response was to laugh. So that's what we're dealing with. Adam Presents says, I doubt there is such thing as a real price. Ed says, Wall Street greed, cunning, and fear, all wrapped up in a flour tortilla. DB Cooper says, so is it over for retail? No, of course not. I think we just need to be smarter about how we're doing our investing right now. And that this message of no matter what, just buy and hold, and eventually, we're going to skyrocket in price. I've heard that for 2.5 years. And I definitely, I've tried to preach against that, just being neutral as possible. But now I've definitely flipped in the other direction. I'm definitely looking to take some money off the table, take some money out of these guys' pockets, because all they've done for the last 2.5 years is blow my brokerage account into smithereens. So I want to start chipping away and making some money back. And if that puts pressure and hurt on them, good. Again, I haven't lost faith in retail. I haven't lost faith in AMC. I haven't lost faith in the movie industry. I've lost faith in everyone else. Everyone else. I don't believe there for a second that anyone is looking out for retail right now, even though we know what they did back in January. They went and perjured themselves in front of Congress, and nothing happened. So what is to stop them, even let's say, from doing that again? Right? Like, what is to stop them from doing that again? Nothing. What's going to happen? Congress oversees the SEC. So if we want some changes to be made, and Gary Gensler, you don't feel like he's doing a good job, then Congress is where the change needs to be made. Ellie says we need a black or white swan to cause a squeeze. We're living in turbulent times, and that may just happen. Absolutely, Ellie. That's why I said those shares that I've already paid for and bought are going to stay in my account. I will wait for that to happen. If there is a white or black swan event and things get really turbulent, then in order to ride this thing. But going forward, my mentality is changing. Joanne says, all of my money is gone. All of it. I can't believe this is called a bull market. It's been a bull market for everyone except for AMC, which should tell you a lot. Besides the fact that the numbers continue to get better, which is fundamentally should show to an investor that, okay, if this valuation is this low, just comparing it back to historically. But AMC is different, right? It's not your typical stock. It is almost, if not entirely, owned by retail right now, plus a bunch of shares. Jesse says AMC and MMTLP show us blue sheets, FINRA, or SEC. What are they hiding? Yep. Yeah. Ed says the actor strike ain't no joke. Right. Exactly. And I've been saying that since it happened. I remember right when they started the strike, I went on and made a video talking about, that this could, cause problems down the line. And hopefully it'll be resolved soon, but who knows? And that was, I think I made that video. That was the 100 days they've been striking. So we're talking about what, 2 or 3 months now? 2.5, 3 months they've been on strike. That's a lot of work lost. Now, when are we going to feel the pinch of that? Probably not for a little while. But it's definitely something you should keep in the back of your mind. Tony says CEOs don't care about you. Yeah, if you guys remember to give a thumbs up when you come in, that would be awesome. I'm behind like 50 comments. All right, I'm going to scroll down. If I missed your comment, please put it back in, but I'm going to try to catch up. I do this every time, and I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Old Moser says dumb money is going to win. Let's go AMC. I hope you're right, Old Moser. Look, like I said, I don't think this is over. I still got fight in me. It's just proceeding forward. I'm going to be extremely cautious about listening to anyone else. when I make a trade. Adam says, I vote for Massalorian to lead us to Occupy Wall Street too. I wish there were some fruitful results that came from Occupy Wall Street, the original one in 2008. I wish there was, but I don't know that will even change anything. I mean, literally, they stepped over people. The guys on Wall Street were stepping over those people and walking into the office. I mean, nothing changed for those people, right? They weren't really affected by this other than having a bunch of people sitting outside your office. But who gives a shit? It matters what's going on inside the building, not out in the street. I should have learned that lesson probably before I went to DC, but I thought that, at least showing up and protesting and, getting it out there to the media and to the rest of the country that the SEC isn't doing his job was a fight to have. So, Tony says, SEC is probably too embarrassed to bring a naked shorting case now. Even if we are right, after all the shit talking they did to retail traders, yeah, they went out, they spent money that they don't have to make a video telling everyone that's a retail trader that we don't know what we're doing. And yes, so this is going to look like egg on their face if they were now to come out and do an actual investigation and find manipulation running rampant throughout the market. It's not a good look. I don't know why Gary would want to put himself in that position. Jose, how you doing tonight? Jose says, I think they should go to jail like the Enron scandal. They're stealing so much money. Yeah. I'm not losing faith in this community or other retail traders or the company or anything like that. I'm losing faith in the system actually being on the up and up and a level playing field. And again, one of the reasons why I started this channel was really for the next generation of traders, right? Yeah, I want it to help me right now, but it's really for the future, right? Everyone's losing faith in the market after they see these things going on. So the question now becomes, how do we take advantage of that, right? Ed says it's like losing a baseball game 24-0, right? Right. Censored content says the FCC's job is to keep small criminals out of the big boys game. How you doing tonight, censored content? AMC is too big of a can of worms. SEC does better arresting movie stars for a few million. Right. The one person we've seen go to jail was, what's her name? Not Margaret Thatcher. Martha Stewart. Might as well have been Margaret Thatcher. Adam says, I actually believe the U.S. government is profiting as well. Dufresne says, damn, I'm late to the party. Had to finish up some work for an early morning meeting. Dufresne, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Table Rock Guy says, I hope all the weed stocks keep climbing. I bought a lot of cannabis stocks. I know a lot of people who were down big in cannabis stocks, especially some Canadian companies. So, yeah, I would like to see, especially if you're invested, Table Rock Guy, I'd like to see a run in the cannabis stocks. That would be good. Especially, I did hear some rumors floating around about possibly Biden trying to pass some legislation to either drop it from its class or legalize it completely. I can't remember which, but that was pretty recent. Brocape says GG is doing a great job. He caught Kim Kardashian and KG complaining about being portrayed in a movie about his crimes. All right, so let's talk about that for a sec. And we will put up this article from Puck News. You guys should be able to see this now on the screen, I believe. All right, let's see. All right, so this is from, I believe, yesterday. Oh, no way. They cut me off? Mother effer. All right, hold on. Let me see what else I can do here. I should be able to find it from another place. That was like the first article I've ever pulled up from them. Hang on. See if I can find this. Man, I don't know when that I don't know when they put that up. I was able to view the whole thing earlier. Son of a bitch. Great. All right, I guess we can't talk about that article. Wonderful. All right, guys, sorry about that. I don't have the article. Maybe someone has a clip of it. Let me just see if I can find an image maybe to pull up. All right. This is craziness. I was able to view it earlier. Now I can't. I have no idea why. Maybe you have to pay for it or something. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Oh, actually, hold on. It's saying here that might let me do it. All right. I think we're good. Here we go. I think I fixed it. Boom. Yep. Okay, should be up. Just going to make it a little bigger for you guys so you can see. There we go. All right. So this article is from today. I was in Roy Thompson Hall on Friday night, Toronto, for the world premiere of Dumb Money, the very fun Craig Gillespie film about GameStop meme stock frenzy of 2021. If you recall, during the height of COVID, retail investors ramped the share price of GameStop and others, eventually inflicting a squeeze on irate institutional investors who had shorted the stocks. As the credits rolled and the audience applauded, I wondered what Ken Griffen, the Wall Street titan billionaire, proprietor of the Citadel hedge fund, and an alleged villain of GameStop saga, thought of the film. You won't believe this, but he's not a fan. Like, really not a fan. I've since learned that Griffen is locked in a nasty behind-the-scenes legal fight with Sony Pictures over his depiction in Dumb Money, which is set to begin its theatrical rollout on Friday. Griffen has hired at least 2 separate law firms and sent multiple threatening letters, one of which I obtained, and he's consulting with crisis PR people to push back aggressively on his depiction by actor Nick Offerman and the filmmaking team. Griffen claims the movie crosses the line into knowingly false and defamatory portrayal of Ken and Citadel Securities. According to the letter sent to Sony Pictures General Counsel Leah West by well-known media attorney Tom Clark, who is joined by Quinn Emanuel partner Bill Barak. My thought was really, like I said, I saw the film. No, the depiction of Griffen certainly isn't positive. Ditto the portrayal of other GameStop players like Dave Plock, Rogan, who, as you guys know, was the CEO of Melvin, whose fund lost billions shorting the troubled games retailer, and Steve Cohen, whose .72 fund helped prop up Plotkin, who, of course, was wearing his Mets hat in the film. And we know that Steve Cohen has been under multiple fines from the SEC for his nefarious practices. But to my eye, the sharp script written by former financial journalists Rebecca Angelo and Lauren Bloom doesn't stretch the key facts beyond the widely circulated news headlines of the GameStop frenzy and the SEC investigation or the source material of the book by so-and-so. Griffith seems most upset about the supposed suggestion that Citadel Securities, his e-trading firm that executed stock trades for Robinhood app, colluded with Robinhood's co-founder Vlad Tenev to halt trading on GameStop and other meme stocks during the height of the short squeeze chaos, which led to losses for many small retail investors. This amplifies this many times debunked collusion narrative and effectively accusing Griffen of committing perjury when he denied colluding with Robinhood during his congressional testimony on the matter, the letter states. Well, not really. The film's collusion between Citadel and Robinhood was never proved. It doesn't show Griffen and Tenev talking about halting trading, and a postscript title card note lawsuit over the subject was dismissed, and the SEC probe cleared Citadel. That's actually kind of the point of the movie. Griffen and his cohorts didn't have to do anything illegal here because the Wall Street players who control the stock market enjoy broad and legal discretion over how they operate. The film does, however, lean on facts alleged in the lawsuit by GameStop investors, which included private conversations among Robinhood executives that showed they did speak with Citadel Securities in the days before trading was halted. According to the Journal, while the communications don't make it clear what was discussed, they indicate the talks were acrimonious. In an internal chat message dated January 27th, which was the day before, the president of Robinhood's brokerage arm, Jim Swartwout, said, "You wouldn't believe the convo we just had with Citadel. Total mess." Lawyers for GameStop investors then argued that the communication showed Citadel pressured Robinhood to curb small investors trading. So yeah, it seems kind of weak to me. He doesn't help himself by basing the letters not on the final film, but on an early draft of the script and trailer. So he had brought this lawsuit without even seeing the movie yet. For instance, he takes particular offense at the line, "Retail investors always lose," that the lawyers say Griffen would never say because, of course, he loves retail investors. But Griffen doesn't actually say that in the film. Plotkin does. And even say it in the film, some light Googling reveals Citadel has a long history of fines for manipulating the markets and ways to help him and his firm and harm other investors, like failing to report short interest positions. All Wall Street firms are fine, but Investor Turf has helpfully put together a list of Citadel, blah, blah. Let's see. Let me get to the bottom here. And of course, Sony is no stranger to these controversial fact-based moves. Talk about the social network with Mark Zuckerberg, which led to a prolonged back and forth. Zero Doc 30, Dianne Feinstein and John, grossly inaccurate and misleading. The interview with Seth Rogen, whose depiction of North Korea's Kim Jong-un led to the Sony hack. They go on Captain Phillips, Moneyball 21. Finally, Griffith's letter admonishes Sony that if the studio doesn't correct the movie, viewers will wrongly believe that Ken and Citadel Securities conspire with Robinhood to end the GameStop short squeeze and stick it to traders. And then it covered it up with false testimony to Congress. He'd be within his right to sue for defamation. We'll see if he follows through. Griffen seems unaware of the Streisand effect, but perhaps his PR person can explain it to him. So, there it is. Suing again. Even though we know all those things to be true. Now, Congress didn't see it when they brought them in to testify. And they don't believe that anyone's perjured themselves. But I think differently. To me, that seems like collusion. If they were speaking at all about anything. Brooke says Maxine Waters admitted it in her findings. That Ken Griffen lied and perjured himself, Brooke? DB Cooper says, do I think Gary Gensler will go see Dumb Money? Is he in it? Did they portray Gary Gensler? I doubt it, right? Because he wasn't part of that testimony. I don't believe. Let me see. Let me see if they have him listed on there. If someone's playing Gensler. Nope, I don't see it here. I don't see it here. So, I don't know. The question. I'm sure he doesn't want to be in it, right? Saif says, Saif, how you doing today? His reason is how corrupt the markets are. Before I talk, just want to point out I'm not from the US, but after losing 200,000, let me put this up. This is from Saeed. Says, before I talk, just want to point out that I'm not from the US, but after losing 200K or about on AMC during the past 2 years, I recovered it all plus 160 in ape run up, pulled out all my money of the US stocks. So there you go. Saeed, thanks for that comment. So you've been disillusioned by the stock market, obviously because of AMC. And you don't think that people in other countries, if there were to be some massive scandal that was exposed by the SEC that was going on right under their noses this whole time, would leave any faith in the US markets? Old Moses says Frankie Muhammad sold his AMC too. So we lost another. Lemon Sweat. Yeah. Look, we've lost a lot of there's a lot of YouTubers out there who have just completely stopped talking about AMC. And no doubt about it, we're going to lose people along the way, right? I've had to come to terms with that since day one, right? There's people, for example, tonight with Beverly, right? Now, Beverly has been a subscriber to the channel for a long time, watched me for a long time. And, tonight she said that I'm way off and she can't follow me anymore. And I understand that, right? And this isn't going to be for everyone. Trying to base things in fact and what we can prove is not exciting, right? It's just not. The clickbait is exciting, right? That the DTCC is shutting down Citadel and these price targets, and I found the algo. They're catchy and they'll get you clicks. But, I think me and Tony and a couple of the other guys try to keep some things just based in fact and reality as much as we can. And that's not for everyone. And I get it, right? But I'm not going to come out here and put out misinformation, especially not on purpose to get clicks. It's not worth it. I think your reputation in the long run is better off if you can be as transparent and truthful as possible, especially when it comes to retail investors and us putting our hard-earned money into stocks. That's the last person I want to see ever get screwed over. Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like when you come in, that'd be awesome. Kevin says, anybody know about the new Polestar vehicle? It's popping up around my area in Ontario, Canada. Pretty huge, never heard of it. Not sure if it's electric, but it's exploding up here. I believe Polestar is an all-electric vehicle, Kevin. I want to say it's from Germany, but I could be wrong. Hold on. Sweden. Sorry, Sweden. It's 50-cent stock right now. It's on the NASDAQ. And it looks like Volvo owns them. They're owned by Volvo. But I haven't seen any Polestars. Not recently. Sense of Contest says thinks he protests too much. Agreed. Kevin says they all lie, get a slap, and pay a fine. Who just got a fine today for $500 million? I saw her on Twitter. $500 million fine. It's a drop in the hat for these guys. Pocus says can't stop buying AMC. And I'm definitely not telling anyone to do that, Pocus. Definitely not saying that. Again, for those of you who have asked, has retail lost? I don't believe so. I don't think we've lost. I think we've gotten our ass kicked. And a lot of people have been able to start turning that around, right? And the whole reason why we did the last 2 live streams was to kind of talk about that, right? And me coming to terms with the changing market. And again, you could have never speculated back in March and April and May of 2021 that we'd be here in the fall of 2023 in all the things that have transpired up to this point, right? That initial investment I made back in 2021 when I bought the heaviest of my position, right, was not based on all these things happening. The ape dividend, right? The court case, and dropped in June 2021. The YouTubers leaving, people coming out and saying that ape was trash and to sell it. There's no way to prepare for things like that. So you have to constantly adapt. And I think that's why I think that's what I'm starting to realize as this time has gone on, that we need to start adapting, right? We have people in our community who are very smart, who are out there right now, making money and doing it proactively, right? If you can't beat them, join them. So it's just a matter of switching up my perspective on this and rolling with the punches. But at some point, you got to punch back. Anything goes, says Mass. I'm down nearly 100K on AMC. My entire, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, selling is not an option. I hear you, man. I hear you. I understand. I get it. And like I said, I'll say this again. Anything I have bought up to this point, I am not going to be selling, right? Until I'm saving that huge position for if things do straighten themselves out and we see a massive squeeze. And I want to make sure that people understand that. I'm not selling any of those shares. When I talk about buying back in, I mean post-split. Establishing a new position in the last week or so. Joanne says, same thing here. Anything goes. Not as much money, but it's all gone. And here's the thing, man. We're all in the same boat right now with our position, right? As far as it goes with this creator, I'm in the same boat with you guys. I didn't make any of those moves, which was stupid of me, right? But I felt like, I don't know. I felt some tied to some, duty to just go all or nothing. And so at this point now, I have to be happy with that outcome for those shares. But again, going forward, I think the whole mentality of retail needs to change. And that is not advice for you guys. That is just something that I'm seeing right now, is that people are taking the power back into their own hands and being proactive. And I think that 2.5 years is enough time to have a buy and hold strategy. And I think I've given it plenty of time to try to correct itself, and it hasn't yet. And I can't sit back on my hands anymore. No one is coming to rescue us. So I can either start to chip away at my losses and bring in some profits, or, or risk losing it all possibly. But again, I'm not worried about that because I'm not worried about AMC going bankrupt anytime soon. I'm disappointed with Hollywood. I'm disappointed with some of the antics that they pulled over the last 2 years, especially with Disney losing $1 billion in the last 9 films and going in this, woke direction with their material. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I mean, they willingly know that they've just got absolutely demolished and ratioed for this Snow White thing. And they're continuing with it. Like, they haven't pulled the plug on that. So again, another film. I mean, if you really did Snow White and kept it to the old German folktale, like the original back in 1937, that could be a huge money maker in live action, right? But they are gonna knowingly buck the system and come up with their own story that's for the modern audience, right? All right. Let's see here. So here's the article. I mean, this is what we're talking about. These are the 7 dwarfs. Amazing. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just crazy that they're doing this shit. Knowingly getting down ratioed, and they're continuing on with it. And you're talking about this could be, maybe one of the highest grossing films ever. But they're going to stick to it's for a modern audience. So you're going to pull in one social justice warrior for a family of 5, and that's going to hurt you at the box office. And the long term, I don't think that's a winning strategy for anyone to be invested in, whether it's Disney or, the theaters that they cater to, if they don't turn it around. But again, how do you prepare for something like this? How do you prepare? You can't. I'm sure most of you guys never imagined you would see a Snow White and 7 Dwarfs looking like that, but that's what we're dealing with right now. All right, let me get back to the comments. Dave says, Dave, how you doing tonight? Angelina, how you doing tonight? Dave says, can't beat him, join him. That's the challenge. Have to be good enough. That's why elites feel no need to change. Yes. B-Rad says it's written in the AMC scrolls that one day the chosen one Trey will return. Sarcasm. Yeah, I don't know where Trey even is right now. But look, that guy, say what you will about Trey, but he was one of the people that led me on to this. And he was right up until a certain point, and he decided to take his money and run. Now, I didn't buy $40 options for June 18th, $40 call options on June 18th like he did. But we'd all be mega rich right now if we did, right? Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be awesome. MC says, what's Astro's take on all this? It's a good question. The 3 lovers, Trey, Matt, and Astro. Remember when they had the big falling out? And they did a live stream just to show how much they loved each other. Yeah, I mean, all those guys, right? Rico. Like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Angelina, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Glenn Stairs says, crayons taste good. Next time you men are in public, look out for Zern. I can't sell, not an option. Feed Jake says, anything goes. Same here, and my average is single digit. Joe says, Master, a good man. Thanks, Joe. And thanks for sharing the misery with the rest of us, right? Oh, man. I watch some of these guys. Like, even now, if I happen to catch, like, a Lou vs. Wall Street video pop up on my queue, you can't be that happy and be down in the stock. There's no way, right? If he was truly invested from day one, how could he possibly be doing all the smiling and laughing and everything else? I mean, you don't see anyone else of us doing that. Doc says newer investors didn't know how to hedge their bets. I recall early on trying to tell some people, and I was called a shill. I don't mean in here or related channels. Doc, of course not. Never say that. Devil May Rage, how you doing tonight? David Ditter says a different strategy with the same corrupt market. Well, look at what the institutions are doing, right? Like Lucy's made money on the downside. Now, personally, I wouldn't do that. But if that's what you think is going to happen, you can make money that way, right? And at the end of the day, that's what I want to see. I want to see retail taking W's. Enough with the L's. Enough. There are ways that you can work within a corrupt market. It doesn't seem like, to me, buying and holding is working. So it's time to switch up strategies. That's just for me personally, guys. And I talked about in the last 2 live streams, and I talked about, the overall sentiment in the market and some of the things I'm seeing going on in the country politically and how that's going to affect us in the next 12, 13 months. I'm very nervous. And the strike, there's just all these other things that are going on, forces around us that we have absolutely no control over. So again, for those people out there who are saying like, this is going to bring life-changing money or this is going to bring life-changing money, you just don't know. Joe says Trey's on a meth binge. Vin says, you can't tell me that SEC is oblivious to the activity going on with this ticker. Many companies with this presence is bending into pretzels of sort of volatility. Yeah, Vin, I'm not saying that they aren't oblivious, that they're not turning a blind eye. And the SEC lawyer just said it himself, right? They're not going to go digging in and looking into some cases. And very rarely do they ever get presented with any factual, concrete information to bring a case. And then if that does happen, you're talking about years before you get anything done and actually settled. And I didn't get into this stock to have it sitting in litigation for 2 to 3 years, right? We want to squeeze. Joe says, possibly couldn't agree more, Mass. Again, it's like self-mutilation with the Snow White thing. I mean, you have gotten ratioed. There's been article after. Don't tell me Disney's not hearing what's going on. Don't tell me that they don't see the numbers tanking. You can't possibly say that after 3 Toy Stories in a row that almost cracked $1 billion, your 4th film comes out, you drop all the, the mainstream actors from it, you put in a different storyline that's woke and it's ready for 2023 and a modern audience, and the thing fucking bombs, right? $100 million it did. I mean, think about how much that's costing us in revenue with concessions. I mean, but Doc says the dude from BlackRock says they're going to force the woke stuff, like it or not. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Who's that? Fink, right? He said that. Yep. It's a shame, but this agenda, this thing that they're pushing, the DEI. I mean, look at the Academy Awards right now. Look what they've done in the Academy Awards. So now, in order for you to even be considered for a role or for an Academy Award, you have to meet certain criteria in your movie. So everyone is bending. Now they have to bend the film industry to the will of a few people who are Academy Awards. It's nuts. Joe says it's like Disney is trying to lose all their money and fans. Yeah, you can't possibly say that they don't see this. Gorilla Gardener, what's going on, man? Good to see you tonight. Pat M says finger is 50% possible potential dilution, I think. The pumpers are out saying because Univest are underwriting it will go to 200 like they did with Top. David says SJWs only go if it's free. They communists and do not believe in prosperity. Kevin says, I'm from a blue-collar family that doesn't do stocks or risks. I did my own research and risked. Yeah. Yeah. And, along the way, everyone's made mistakes. They've all made bad calls. And I certainly include myself in that, right? Going back to before the ape dividend, right? Saying that my speculation was that they would kind of mirror each other on the market. That basically, it would just be like a normal split. And, maybe we'd see similar price action, but they would hover around each other in value, right? And that certainly didn't happen. they got obliterated, right? But how do you prepare for, the onslaught that came from the YouTubers who were saying ape is worthless? You got those guys, me, Kevin, Wrench, Mac Horse, everyone who was out there doing that, pushing that. That certainly had an effect on us. And I wouldn't have thought those guys would have turned on retail. I don't know what their motivations were. Dave says that Marantz has been going hard lately. Blueface smiling. Yeah, Pat, we talked about last night in the live stream about New Mexico and Albuquerque. Yeah, I played the video last night. We talked about last night. Yeah, suspending civil liberties, man. That's what it's come down to. Look, they've already done it with speech, right? The White House just lost a lawsuit that said they can no longer be in contact with social media companies to censor speech. So they started with that. This will be the next step. Dave, what's Moran's talking about? GME? GameStop, right? The money millionaires? Steven says, buy and hold never worked, Massalorian. That's ape brainwash talk. Price isn't moving from holding, it's moved from buying pressure. This is true. Joe says, Boss Blunts doesn't talk about AMC anymore. He doesn't talk about AMC. I thought I just saw a video from Boss Blunts the other day talking about AMC. I know he moved or something. Doxino says the hedge crooks were on a high alert after GME in 2021. Retail never really has come to grips with that. I'm starting to come around, Doxino. Starting to come around. I'm starting to see through, or at least hear through the echo chamber, right? Tony says underwriter is irrelevant when it comes to finger. Dilution is dilution. Pumper fantasy, but it may have another few days of FOMO. Dream of Stuff, how you doing tonight? He says, never forget, 85 shares of GME at 240 went to 300. YouTube said it would go higher. Held ups and downs, went from 25K opportunity to 2,000 gain, LOL. Kevin says, this was supposed to be a we got him moment and get rich quick. They knew when we jumped in to save it and said, whoa, we need to manipulate this retail BS. So yeah, we need to figure out a plan B. And that's kind of where my message has been for the last couple of days, Kevin. Like, I see other retail investors, people that I know, that I trust, who are taking advantage of playing with the manipulation, playing the market, right? Beating them at their own game. And I've seen the results. Me not personally, but other people have seen the results. Vin says, as Heath Ledger's Joker said, it's not about money. It's about sending a message. It was about both for me, Vin Cool. Like, I was definitely in it for the money and the potential of, and man, I tell you, if I had sold back in June 2021 at the peak, god damn, I swear I have nightmares about this, looking at my brokerage account, what the numbers were. But that would have been life-changing money for me. But I didn't. I held through, and here we are. That was my mistake. I have opportunity to sell this stock at 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. And I decided to stay in and plant my feet. And so far, that strategy has been detrimental, let's say, to my account. Grandpa says, Feed Jake been trading the hell out of AMC, making bags. Yes. And Grandpa's one of the people that I know is doing very well on the other side of this. And that's what I want to see, right? I want to see retail win. That's one of the most important things. Because I don't think we can fix the market right now. We aren't strong enough. We don't have enough influence. And nobody's listening to us anyways. And the people who are doing the manipulative tactics, they get in trouble, but the fines are never, comparatively speaking, close to what they're making in profits by bending the rules. SV Tweety Bird says, I think the price is real, then you think price is not manipulated. I think they are not able to control price at some point, and I will not be out when that happens. Fair price, I'm green. Moas, I'm rich. Yeah, Tweety Bird, I have plenty of shares if when that day comes. If and when that day comes. If they come into a position where they're not able to control the price anymore, I'll be ready for it. But until then, I'm going to try to beat them at their own game. And I think everyone should take a hard look at the market right now and where we may be headed. Understand that there's a lot of big money out there betting against the market right now in our future, right? I mean, two of the biggest guys, the financial wizards, meaning Michael Burry and Warren Buffett, have taken out huge short positions on the market, right? And they're not always right. They get things wrong from time to time. But when they do get things right, they get paid. I don't know if that's going to happen, but when you see money like that, and I've heard Kevin O'Leary talking about chaos that's ensuing. He's been on a couple channels before, but he's also got an agenda, right? He's getting paid by the small business thing there, the federal government funds. So he's on there every day talking about how this is going to crush small businesses, and the interest rate hikes are terrible. I've also seen that they're possibly going to put a pause on a rate hike in September, which I think is ridiculous, but that's not what Jerome Powell said he was looking for. We're not there yet. Not even close. Prometheus, what's going on, man? See you in the chat tonight. How you doing? Say hi to Pam for me. Chuck says APE was worthless. It converted to nothing, which is why I'm glad it's gone now, Chuck. I'm glad it's gone. I think it was confusing. It was everything besides a dividend. It was the exact opposite of a dividend, right? MC says, unfortunately for me, my landlord thinks it's about the money, not the message. Vin says, I'm talking about the Disney woke stuff. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where Disney is headed. So I saw this afternoon that there was a commercial on that, they are playing one of the Disney streaming services shows. So a Disney streaming, Disney Plus show. They're going to play in theaters the 5th episode for a Lucas series, which, look, I think we've talked about this in the past, right? It would have been cool, or it still could be cool, to do some of that, some like TV episodes, series finale, seasons finale. Like, Game of Thrones would have been an awesome show to watch on a big screen, right? Maybe not the season finale, series finale, but that would have been cool, right? So I'm glad to see that at least, and Disney Plus, man, I mean, I just saw they put an ad out. You can get the next 3 months for $1.99, which is crazy. But hopefully they're starting to get it, that people are fed up with this shit. Red Star 7311, what's going on, my friend? How you doing tonight? He says Adam Aron lied to the courts about imminent bankruptcy, even though he knew about the Taylor Swift deal. Yeah, but Red Star, do you think that the Taylor Swift deal to save us from bankruptcy? Right? Like, yep, he knew about the deal. Was the strike going on at that point? No, not yet. Not yet. But yeah, I don't think that the Taylor Swift deal is enough to say, well, that saved bankruptcy. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's enough. Joseph says, why is AA radio silent? Last thing I heard from him, Joseph, was making an announcement about Taylor Swift. That was a couple of days ago. I don't know what he's going to say right now. Doxino says fines were not intended on stopping anything. They were intended by the crooks to make money off of other crooks. Yeah, it's not going to put an end to anything. The fines aren't working. The only thing that stops people from doing crimes like that is bars. That's it. That's it. Bars and handcuffs. Bars and handcuffs will send a message. Dream of Stuff says, doing good, bro. Keep going, Mass. FYI, I tried playing options. Almost lost all my shit on Tesla. Scary. Anyway, turn my portfolio around with better options plays. Good for you, man. I'm glad you got it back. That's all that matters. I just want retail to win. And again, it doesn't have to be on AMC. And for me going forward, as far as like being proactive in the market, doesn't necessarily mean I have to mess with AMC at all. There's other plays out there. There's other tickers, whether it's on the downside or the upside. But got to start taking some profits off the table. Red Star says, I never got my settlement shares. Red Star, who's your broker? And did you contact them and let them know? What have they said? Kevin W says, this is the fight, what we keep fighting, and the SEC doesn't give a F. As long as they say, boys, you messed up, please give us money. We'll look the other way. You're good. Where did all the vids of GG go? Where did all the vids go, GG? Now, this is true. Yep, they'll just get the fines, and the fines never outweigh the profits they're bringing in from using these tactics, right? So what will bring this to a swift end? I don't know. But I can't sit around waiting anymore and hoping that something does. That is not being smart. Red Star 7311 says, I don't believe we are in a danger of bankruptcy. That's great, bro. It matters on what does the market think? What do institutions think? What do day traders think? What do retail investors think? Right? Like, I understand a lot of people don't think that AMC is in danger of bankruptcy, but that has nothing to do with the price action we're seeing. And you could be right. Maybe we aren't in danger of bankruptcy. Maybe there is something that we don't know about that's coming that is gonna, wipe, but I haven't heard of it. I haven't seen any releases about it. Until then, it's time to start thinking smart in the market. And it doesn't matter what you or I or the next person believes as far as how close AMC is or is not to bankruptcy, right? The overall market determines that. So you can ride that train up or down and try to make money from it, or we can do what we've been doing, which is just buying, holding, and sitting back. I choose to exercise the first, right? And this is, Red Star, this is all just my opinion. This is just for me personally with my dry powder going forward. I'm going to try to make the most of it and control what I can control. And if I take losses, that's fine. It's on me. And I'm aware of that. But I'm tired of leaving my money parked somewhere that just continues to take L's based off other people's evaluations. I can't do it anymore. Not with any money I have left. The small amount I have left now. Need to try to turn that into some profits. Anything Goes says, I'd like to play other tickets, but have no money left to invest. Anything Goes. Yeah, I'm not talking about big money, right? I'm talking about chipping away right now. I mean, I'm talking about like a $500 investment and trying to start small and work my way up from there and just take small profits when I can. But I hear you all not having any money left to invest. And I can't sell now. The money that I have now, I would never eat that. I can't eat those losses. It's just something about taking that kind of a hit that would destroy me. After all this time. Super Steven says, Mass, even if the stock ran to 100 post split, you still wouldn't take profit. You got to buy and hold flowing through event. Who said that? I'm saying I will going forward. If I buy in tomorrow at $7 and the stock goes to 100, If it went to 50, I would probably take my profits. I'm not praying for all-time highs. We've never even come back and sniffed that area. Not even close. I don't have buy and hold flowing through my veins anymore. Maybe I need a dialysis machine. Super Steven. David Ditter says, Webull settlement shares cut off the 22nd. They took my 4 settlement shares from 823 AMC shares purchased. Yeah, Webull has been causing some issues. Wait, did anyone come back and tell me what brokerage app that they had? I was trying to figure out. Doc says, make no mistake, screwy as APE was, it did save the company. It bridged the gap that EPS was not doing. Yeah, and that gave us a profitable quarter last quarter, right? Being able to sell those apes to Antara. Prometheus says, I made more money swing trading ape and AMC prior to the reverse split than I made on AMC since the beginning of November 2020. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, right? This is a prime example. Prometheus making money. That's what this is all about. Feed Jake says, same here, Mask. Can't take that big of a loss. Yeah, I know. It's just something inside me, man. I can't pull a trigger on that sell button. But with a little bit of powder I do have right now, I have definitely changed my mindset going forward. This stock is going to either go up or down from this point. Where we land today, it's 730, whatever. Now, it's anticipating the next move, right? And that's what I think I'm going to be looking for going forward. Getting in at a new position and getting out with some money. That's what we're supposed to be doing in the market. If we're retail traders, we're supposed to be taking profits. Super Steven says, okay, I just wanted to hear you say it. Yeah, man, it's out. It's out. I've exercised the demons, right? Oh, man. Honestly, man, it's all of you guys out there who are, making these smart moves that have changed my opinion on this. And it took some time, but seeing the results is all the proof I need, right? And it's right there in front of us. Prometheus, right? Do I free up all that money and sell those shares? Freeing up my AMC money, I've made enough money in the last 2 months to recover my massive losses from AMC and AA. Yeah. And, we've talked about that a lot on this channel in the last 2.5 years. I know we have about, not being able to work with that cash all this time. When you have all that money invested like we do now, and it's not available to you to swing or day trade or scalp, that's it's tough, right? Just seeing it constantly coming down and not being able to utilize that capital. But at this point now, it wouldn't be worth it for me, right? Maybe prior to the split, that would have been a good call, or back when it was before the ape split off and became a dividend for us. But I'm in too deep on the other side now. So it's a matter of getting proactive. And I know I keep saying I sound like a broken record, but I really want to emphasize that to you guys that, my thinking on this is changed just as the play has changed and the circumstances surrounding it. Adapt or die. Damrick says, buy and hold was a trust of each other to force a squeeze. Some are out for themselves and screwed over the brotherhood of apes. Yeah, there is a lot of trust involved in this, right? There is. There certainly is a lot of trust involved in this. Sufyan was asking me last night about, doing collabs with other YouTubers. And, we've done that in the past. I've had other guys on here, but You know, it's just, you never know kind of what someone's intentions really are. And it's hard to do vetting sometimes. And, you know, I got a bit in the ass from having people on. Now, you know, we've had, or I've had, you know, on with maybe on Tony on a live stream. We've had, you know, Boss on and Bigums and Phil and all those guys, right? Who are still on the play right now. But I've also had an AB and KC, right? But I've also brought on people who have been an absolute disgrace to retail, right? Who have done nothing but bitch and whine and moan. And, you know, guys who got into AMC and blew up their channels, or GME, and now that's all it is, right? It's just it's a pity party. It's a pity party for them. And they come in and shit all over the CEO and the company and the business model and dilution and everything else. And look, there is people out there who are doing just fine with their channels for that. But this is about something different for me, right? As you guys know, it's like I haven't put out any videos during the day, like a video, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. I can't come on there and tell you up or down tomorrow. Are we going to hit $5 before we hit 10? And when they say social media influencers, you certainly do have an influence when you're on here talking to people on a platform like this. And there comes a lot of responsibility with that. And I think sometimes people lose sight of that and are just excited about growing their channel and getting clicks and making a catchy thumbnail. And maybe I've been accused of doing that myself in the past. I don't know. But I don't think there's any long-term benefits to doing that. Kevin says, I'm going back into crypto, doing the swings. You got to watch the nighttime swings when everyone's sleeping. That's how I studied the market. I knew nothing about raise high late, night dump early. Is that what you're seeing, Kevin? Raising at night and then dumping in the mornings? Honestly, I haven't traded crypto at all. I've bought some crypto and sold some crypto, but I haven't been doing a swing trading of crypto. Uwerk says, have you heard talk about the green shoe effect? I'm not sure I understand how this could bounce AMC. No, Uwerk, I haven't. Green shoe effect? Green shoe option reduces the risk for a company issuing new shares, allowing the underwriter to have the buying power to cover short positions if the share price falls, without the risk of having to buy shares if the price rises. In return, this keeps the share price stable, benefiting both issuers and investors. No, I haven't heard of that yet. Uwerk. It's interesting. Jesse, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, man. Says, what's up, Mass? Working on construction site, but listening in. Hey, man, be careful out there. What are you working on right now, Jesse? Building a house? You doing commercial? What's going on down in New Zealand right now, my friend? Censored Content says, what's the cartoon shield team? It's a good question. I should work on making a thumbnail for that. That'd be good. Hey, Maggie. I see Maggie in the chat tonight. Says, Massalorian, good evening. Good evening to you, Maggie. How you doing tonight? Thanks for coming by, hanging out. Hope you're doing well. Ellie says, be careful with options, everyone. Unless you are experienced, you can lose it all. It's not easy, that's for sure. Yeah. Be extremely careful with options, guys. You know, you've seen what's happened in the past with the GameStop options and what was it? Either Lucid or Mullen. Who was it back in the day that was doing those crazy option plays? I can't remember his name now. Help me out, chat. Who was that crazy guy? I know you guys know who I'm talking about. Tony would know if he's still in the chat. Anything Go says, hey, Mass, how's your film coming? Release date? I talked about that last night. So I have one more thing to film. I've gotten it down to 32 minutes, but I'm trying to drop it to 25 or somewhere in there, 22 to 25 minutes. I've edited it down right now to about 31, somewhere around there, about 30 minutes. But I think that's too long. So trim some stuff, and I still have one more thing to add. But today's the 11th. I want to try to have it out before Canadian Thanksgiving, which is, I believe, November 1st. I want to have it out in the next 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah, 4 to 5 weeks, I would say. I still got some work to do. I have so much B-roll and film to go through. That's really the whole process of this, is cutting out shit that you don't need. And then trying to lay down soundtracks over it and the effects and everything else. It's a long process. It's not an easy process. I have 17 days of film from when I left Boston to Seattle. So, I mean, we're talking about hours and hours of going through and trimming a lot of stuff that's unnecessary. Doing that editing, it's just time consuming. And I'm going through it now. Like I said, I'm down to about 30 minutes. I got about 10 more minutes to shave off. That will take a couple weeks because I got one more thing I need to film. One more thing. I was hoping to reach out to Pantheon to give me a hand with that, but I haven't heard back from him, so still waiting. Let's see. Devil May Rage says I've never seen morale as low as it is right now in AMC, kind of throwing me off in daily life as is demoralizing as hell. Can't sell though, will be insanity at that point. And Devil May Rage, I mean, in all honesty, right? I think that is the stickiest glue we have right now holding us together, is the insane thought of selling right now at these low prices. So yes, the community is divided. Morale is low. How can it not be? I mean, anybody who's coming on here right now and smiling or laughing or anything like that, I can't take them serious, right? There's just no way you hold a heavy position in AMC and can be in a good mood right now. So anyone that's out on YouTube making videos laughing and smiling, I got questions. But yeah, man, morale is low. I get it. And there's reasons, right? There's reasons for that. It's not unwarranted. But some people are making changes and are, developing new strategies and ways to take down profits. And I think we all need to be thinking that way going forward, because our strategy so far has not worked. I ain't easy admitting that, but it's true. Tony says low morale means we are at the despair phase of market psychology cycle chart. May be a good time to buy up ahead. Yeah. Like I said, you guys asked earlier about the price. We've kind of been hanging around this seven and change mark now for 3 days. And that this is the bottom, but you guys know how to read a chart. Now it's a little different, right? Because we still are kind of in the discovery phase, right? We just had the reverse split happen, the conversion happen. So still kind of testing the waters. But last 3 days we've been hanging around this price. So now it's speculation on which way do we go up from here or down. And how long can you hold? How long can you stay in and still take profits? And that's going to be important. Knowing when to pull the plug. Not letting it run up and all the way back down again. Because if it has a run up, it's coming back down. We've seen this stock move, 30, 40% in a day. Both ways. What goes up must come down. When do you pull that fucking card, right? And take your profits? It's important. Maggie says, Super Steven, what have you been smoking? AA should be arrested for theft of our money. What is Super Steven saying? Jesse says, hey, I'm smiling. Nothing's changed. I'm in it to win, baby. And yeah, as much as we may be down right now emotionally, and it sucks, right, that we've gotten manhandled, it's good to keep an optimistic lookout no matter what, right? The company ain't going bankrupt. AA is continuing to try to make some moves to shore up the company. You know, we're continuing to buy the stock. I just don't know. I don't know where we go from here. It's, again, the division in the community sucks. It's not good to see. I know there's a lot of despair out there. I'm not selling at these prices because I am down so bad right now that it would be absolutely demoralizing for me to sell. And that keeps me optimistic that maybe the only way from here is up. There is only one direction in the long term, the way this stock can go. As long as market conditions stay the same, again, there's all these things working against us. We got to worry about the writer and actor strike. Things that we can't control. And first, I mean, and finally, I don't know what they're planning for next year, but they're planning something big, I would have to imagine, to help them win this election. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be lockdowns and riots. I don't think they can go with that strategy again. I think that people would rise up, although you would have thought we would have done that the first time around. But I just don't know. I don't know what they're cooking up right now. Like, what happens if, Kamala replaces Joe Biden? How's the market going to react to that? I don't know. I just can't. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have Palantir, right? Dominic says, us holders are the only ones with real shares. Another reason, Dominic, right? Well, I'm not selling those shares that I purchased all the way back in 2021. I think those are real shares. I hope they are. Kevin says, funny how they can drop a stock 5 hours after hours in one day when there are no halts. Hello, SEC. And Kevin, this is the thing, man. I'm not putting any faith in the SEC anymore or any of them. I'm not. I have zero faith in anything that's going on right now in the market. Zero. I can't put my faith in them anymore, which is why I need to find opportunities and make money where I can, because I don't think these people are concerned about us at all and trying to help us or trying to fix the market and square it up to make it a more level playing field. Again, for them to come out and admit right now, the SEC, or to find some huge scandal and find out that we are massively oversold right now, that there are, billions of synthetic shares out there. How does that look? How does that make Wall Street overall look? They'll start looking into every company out there, right? It would be disastrous for Wall Street. And I don't think they're going to risk or put anything in jeopardy as far as overseas investments or whales or big people who are invested in the market right now. They don't want to scare them away. They need to come across to the world that the stock market is working correctly and everything's fine. And if you make a mistake, we'll make a big headline and put out an article and tell you how we find these people hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, you go and look and they made $2.5 billion on the transaction, right? But the appearance that, if you do something wrong, you're going to get fined is still there, right? You still have that smoke screen that looks like, things are working because they're finding people. So everything must be on the up and up because they're discovering these anomalies and people are getting fined. Yet they continue to happen year after year after year by the same companies. How do you fight that? How possibly can you fight that against a force like that that's got all that money to throw at it? We don't have that kind of money. Yeah, I don't know who's backstab. I don't know who she's talking about, T. I don't know who Maggie was talking about. Oh, okay. All right. I definitely don't want to get into. I definitely don't want to. We got enough people fighting. I definitely don't want to have any fighting. It's tough enough as it is. This is like fighting against this monster. All right. David says they either cover their shorts or they don't. Hedgies have covered nothing other than maybe the 90% we gave away. Saw a video the other day of someone saying that they were talking about the hedge funds and who's going to make them cover. And it's a great question, right? Who is going to make them cover? But I just want to make sure people understand that that goes for every stock, right? That goes for every stock. So again, this life-changing money, and this is way oversold, or there's 175 million shorts out there that need to be covered. Who's going to make them do that? I don't know. We haven't been able to force them to cover on AMC. And you got millions of eyes on it, all around the globe. People are watching this stock. And it's meant nothing so far. Zero. Kevin says GG knows he's not getting reelected and his shame will be his demise that he sleeps with. So GG, he gets appointed, right? Congress oversees the SEC. If we got a problem with the SEC, we got to talk to Congress. Gary Gensler, that's the only person that really is hanging over Gary Gensler's head or can make him do anything is Congress. And they just had a hearing with him. I want to say in late July, early August, they had a hearing with Gary Gensler. And, they didn't even talk about anything having to do with the market or meme stocks or retail traders. They talked about crypto the whole time and FTX. That was the big thing, right? They were after Gary Gensler because he didn't investigate it, even though there were all these warning and red flags that came up that something was going on over there that wasn't on the up and up, right? That they were possibly cooking the books. And they didn't even send an investigator down to look into it. Now, whether that was because of political reasons or incompetence, I don't know. But that's what he was testifying for in Congress. The mention of retail traders did not come up. I watched almost, I think, the whole C-SPAN thing. It was like 4 hours that he was in there with Congress, and they didn't even mention it in passing. Jesse says, did you see the guy on the news freeze up? Yes, I did. I think I might have saved it. Hold on. I might have it. I think I might have bookmarked it. Let me see. I did see that. That was funny. Let me see if I bookmarked it. No, I didn't. I did see it, though. It was the guy from CNBC, right? Jesse? I did see him. Yeah, I did see that. That was crazy. Censored content says... Where am I here? GG. Okay, I'm back to it. Hold on. I got to catch up on this chat here. Way down, way down. Here we go. All right. S. Jackson says, of course, they were talking about FTX because their buddies lost mad money on it. However, us and AMC should lose. Yeah, that was the big thing that was on the table. That whole, the whole thing was about FTX and cryptocurrency. And there was no mention of anything about retail or any of that. And there hasn't really been, right? They asked him back in 2021. They told him to look into the GameStop and AIM debacle from January of 2021 and write a report. That report came out. They found that that wasn't even a squeeze, right? That's what they said. And that, Robinhood wasn't in trouble and complete nonsense. And we went over it, right? I mean, some of the things that he said were true in that report, but a lot of it was BS that we now know. But and he hasn't been back in front of them until just recently, where they talked about crypto. So as far as I think the government is concerned, with Congress, they're wiping their hands. They're done with any repercussions for what is going to force the SEC to do anything about it now? After they came out with the GameStop report and basically said they don't see anything illegal here. There might have been some things that were some loopholes that they went through and in some gray areas where they were operating, but nothing that's arrestable or anything like that, right? That's what his finding found. So that's what they found. So for him to come out now or anytime in the very near future and change his tune on that, it's going to look terrible. Why? He's not going to do that. He's just not. Benedict says buying some more AMC tomorrow because screw them all. I hear you, bro. I hear you. I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting back in as soon as my inkling tells me that we've found ourselves at the bottom. I'm gonna be looking to get a new position post split. I know I'll get asked. New position. Angelina says, I love Maggie and Tony. Let's keep the peace. I agree. I love them both too. And we need more peace right now, right? We need peace. Anya says, every single one of us is entitled to make choices. Grow up, kiddies. Yeah, and I'm doing some growing up right now. Right? Understanding that you guys take advantage where you can in the market and play this game along with them, because our strategy has just not worked so far, and it's tough to swallow that pill. And again, I'm not going to sell right now because I am down so heavy. What does it matter? But again, I just think we need to be smarter going forward, and I think it's important to kind of step back and out of that echo chamber and that mentality. And it's hard to do, especially for some of you guys who are new traders and this is your only position, and maybe you only have AMC and GME in your account and you don't know much about, day trading or options or any of those things, right? I get that that's not what you want to hear. And again, I understand this isn't going to be the message for everyone, and I know that. But adapt and survive, I think, is the game going forward. Especially just because we don't know what's going on with the actor strike and the writer strike. And now they're pushing off movies into 2024. And who knows what else is coming. Again, I don't know what they're going to do to replicate the situation that we had in 2020, where they were able to lock us down at the same time. BLM and Antifa were allowed to run rampant across the country and burn and kill. I don't know what that's going to look like in 2024 or 2020. Yeah, 2024. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do in order to keep the other side from winning. But if we get ourselves into a situation like that next year as a country, I don't think that bodes well for anything that's brick and mortar. How can it? That goes for my GME position too. That's included in there, right? Andrew Amato says, did you think it would be easy to take down Wall Street? No, never. I But he says they had billions of dollars to fight us. They have paid off Congress, regulators, and everyone else that would stop this BS. Yeah, Andrew, I never expected us to be able to take them down and knock them out, right? But I did think that back in early 2021, we had caught them with their pants down. And I don't know that they've ever really recovered from that in reality. I don't know what happened at that point. You know, if you go back and read the GameStop report, there's some things that don't really make sense. But okay. I assumed that, but I assumed when that happened and the fuss that was stirred up about it, how it garnered all this attention, I guess unwittingly I was thinking that, all right, well, now there's no way they can do anything shady again with this because everybody's going to be watching these stocks, AMC, GME, go down the list with the meme stocks, right? There's just no way possible. And also at that time, I realized there was an opportunity to make money in the stock, right? That AMC was going to recover, that eventually, you know, the mandates would come down and more people would get vaccinated and things would open up and we would see profits coming back in again, right? I assumed all those things and that it was a good bet on a recovery play with the possibility of a massive short squeeze, right? So I don't think that the original assessment was that far off, but having a little bit extra faith or having too much faith in the regulatory bodies or that retail was going to be able to fight a fair fight with, with Wall Street, 3.5 million retail investors. Maybe I was a little overzealous. And again, I look back at some of the decisions as far as, not allowing AMC to dilute earlier when the share price was so much higher. And just, taking that initial pain to put us in a better position where right now we wouldn't be so worried about raising money. And again, we really did. We helped AMC in this recovery, right? You definitely can't say that retail wasn't a huge factor behind AMC pulling itself up from, the verge. And, again, I think people feel like ARON has a duty to retail to repay them a hundredfold for helping buy the stock and, giving them some liquidity back when they really needed it, right? And that he has an obligation to us, when in reality, he has an obligation to his company that he's running and keeping them afloat, doing whatever it takes that he can do legally. Now, if he's doing something illegal, then that's a different story, right? All right, let's see. Tony says if AMC sold their assets today, they would be in the hole a few $1 billion. What is negative $2 billion worth? Talking about the evaluation, Tony? Kevin says, Tony, keep your head high. I follow you and you made smart decisions and try to do your DD and everyone is willy-nilly on this play. You do you. Yeah, Tony did the DD and we talked about it on the live streams, right? We talked about, we never told anyone what to do, but we talked about the possibility of being able to get APE and at a cheap discount and post reverse split. If the judge was going to rule on it, that you would be able to make some money on that. And also that there would be dilution following that decision if it was approved. And obviously AMC was going to drop shares. That's the whole point. The reason why they did the reverse split. So, I mean, that should have gone without saying, right? Austin Duncan says, Tony, McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's Pizza, all the same cases, but their stock isn't fucked up with every day. Tony says, I gave up on people that prefer hopium. I'm here for those that want to understand financials, make money. And that's how we all should be thinking, guys, honestly. Really. The hopium stuff and you know, a while back, I remember me and Tony talked about not using the word catalyst so freely anymore, or MOAS. Remember, T? We talked about that like a year and a half ago. Like, we got to be real careful with our terminology. We shouldn't be using certain words that create that hopium because we just don't know. We had a conversation about that probably more than once about everything, the language that we were using, the wording, you know. Anya says, thanks, Tony, for what you've done. Help us who are willing to listen. Broke Ape says, only reason I was on the right side of this play is thanks to Tony and Mediocre and Super Steven. Thanks, guys. David says, this is a war against the Federal Reserve. Make no mistake about that. Yeah, and it seems like they're going to continue to sacrifice the middle and lower class with interest rates rather than let the market suffer. And for us right now in the market, that's a good thing, right? I mean, it's crushing me in my wallet, but it is keeping the market propped up. And yeah, I think there's some sacrifice going on right now between the Federal Reserve and what they're doing with the rates. Because one of the two has to take a hit, right? Old Moses says, I don't want to take advantage of the game. It hurts the little guy worse than anyone else, costs job options. And yeah, man, I hear you. Listen, again, with the whole actors and writers strike, I hate to crush the little guy, right? I don't want to see that the production companies are going to win this and be able to not help pay people more, right? Because that I'm big on capitalism. I'm big on, I think unions are good to a certain extent. And, I don't want to see a little guy crushed. And there's a lot of jobs that get taken away when you short into a company. And that's one thing I won't do. I won't go short in AMC. That promise I can make you. But I understand. And it's a shitty thing. Whether or not it should be legal, I think it's a bad policy to have people in your own country betting against, any type of company or entity that's trying to make it, especially with the interest rates the way they are now, everybody's suffering. So I hate trying to stick it to the man. But again, old Mozart, I can't just sit back and continue for things to change or things to get better. It's completely crushed us. And, I'm willing to take the hit on the shares that I'm going to park and leave and not touch. But going forward, I have to look at this play realistically and do my best guess on how to take some profits. And again, it might not just be AMC. There are, 40,000 tickers out there, some crazy number. There's opportunities and ways of making money. There's a lot of smart people out there who are doing it on a daily basis. And it's not for everyone. But I think being transparent with your audience is important. And I just think that's important. So if my game plan is going to change, then I will let you guys know. And it's changing right now, right? It's adapt or survive. It's funny because we talk about being in a bull run right now. You'd never know it if you were holding AMC. But every other position is probably up, right? From a year ago. I know I'm up in, my second biggest positions in Palantir. That's still up right now. S. Jackson says, Tony Danilo, thanks, and I will keep you posted on the Disney fiasco if you keep posting on it. T, you about to do a Disney No, Disney video. Old Moses says, but we sit and watch vultures do this in the USA, and people like you take advantage of the game. Old Moser, I haven't done anything yet. Slow down, slow down. I'm talking about from this moment going forward. Take offense, but you are jumping the little guys too. Little guys should jump on board with us. That's what I think. Old Moser. And again, if I buy in right now at $7 and change, and this stock runs 50%, and I sell, who am I taking that money from? If I just purchased the stock today or tomorrow, right? Again, this mentality of sitting by and doing nothing, that's cost us 90% in negative, a 90% drop. It's done nothing good for us. I don't know if this strategy will ever win. Prometheus says, Massa had a cost average of $13.50. There's no way I would ever see a reverse split conversion recovery price of $135. And my APE cost average was $127 before reverse split. S. Jackson says to Old Moser, retail is not the vulture. Look at the hedgies. Don't jump on retail when big money is what is killing us. Having someone telling. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is retail crushing retail. This price action we've seen the last week. This is institutions crushing retail. So they've just driven us down, what, 40% in the last 5 days, right? Now, if you have a chance to get that money back by let's say Friday, and you don't do it, I don't think we can be helped. And again, I'm talking about establishing a new position right now, right? As I said, I'm not touching any of my shares that I bought since 2021. Or let's just say pre-split. Talking about now establishing a new position and taking down profits. And when you do that, you help take down Wall Street. I think we all need to get on board with that idea. That's not taking down the little guy, Old Moser, right? Little guy's been getting his teeth kicked in for 2.5 years. When's enough enough? No one's coming to rescue us. I know that might sound hard to take, but that's what I believe. I feel deep down inside that if they wanted to put a stop to this, they could have a long time ago. But clearly, the governing bodies, the overseers of the market, are okay with it the way things are going because people up there are making money hand over fist. So when do we start to adapt that mentality? It's just, I think we're in a whole new ball game now. Now that the split's been done, we got one ticker, AMC, and I'm going to look to take advantage of that ticker going forward. And if something great happens and we have some kind of spectacular run and we see some type of MOAS, I got plenty of shares that I bought before the split. I mean, they ain't what they used to be, but I still got enough where I can ride that train and still make a killing. And for right now, focus on just chipping away at these guys. They've been chipping away at us for 2.5 years. When are we going to take a chip back? If we do nothing, they'll keep doing it. I never in a million years would have thought they could have dropped this stock down to 71 cent evaluation. Never. Never. But they've done it. It's amazing. Truly amazing. And again, this isn't to cause division, guys. I really want to try to emphasize that as much as possible. The last thing we need right now is any more division. But this play is constantly changing, and we need to be able to adapt with that, right? That is a smart way to approach this. And it was the smart way to approach this from a long time ago. But now going forward, now that we've got the court case settled, right? We've got a profitable quarter. We got the court case settled. We got a profitable quarter. And the reverse split has happened. The ape is gone. To me, now, this is a completely different play than it was in March of 2021. And whatever money that was invested from that time until the split, I have to be okay with the losses that I've taken, and I'll use those shares when something great happens. But now that all the stuff is out of the way, and it looks like from here on out, we're going to be dealing with bullshit from the hedge funds and manipulation. But also we have all that kind of stuff behind us, right? And we got a profitable quarter. So if we get another one, get on a roll like that, and the market reacts, and we see the price action taken off, I got to be willing to take profits on those new shares. I got to get out of that mentality. You got to be willing to say, okay, if today I can make 30 or 40% on this trade, is that okay? Am I okay to do that? And I think we should be okay with that, because they just did it on the other end on the way down. Walter Man the Mill says, good evening, everyone. Wow, this turning. Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is turning into another drama channel. Not good. What kind of drama, Malt? It's funny. I see all these guys out on YouTube who are making videos about other YouTubers. But that's not drama. This is drama. Talking about what we're going to do post-split, and how after just getting our asses kicked, can we turn the tables, possibly, and take back some money that we just lost. I don't know how that becomes drama, but if drama fills my pockets with greenbacks, I'm all right with it. We're talking about changing our strategy, stepping outside the echo chamber of just buying and holding and praying and waiting for something amazing to happen, and trying to get proactive in the market and take profits. Definitely don't want this channel to be about drama. There's plenty of YouTubers out there who are making videos about other YouTubers. If that's your thing, they're out there. I try to have this channel so people can come here, give their opinions. We can talk about things openly, whether you're wherever your position is on this. Like, obviously, I don't want people coming in dumping all over AMC, but that's going to happen from time to time, right? There's nothing I can do about that. But I want to be able to hear both sides of the argument, because maybe I'm missing something and the other side has the answer to it, and I just can't see it because, I got blinders on. So hearing both sides of the argument may seem like drama, but again, it's never been a good thing. Moser says, when you follow their lead, aren't you helping them? Where am I wrong about someone? So, Moser, are you talking about shorting? Because that's not what we're talking about tonight. I'm not talking about shorting AMC. You understand that, right? I'm talking about taking profits. I hope you understand that. That's not what this is about. Definitely not talking about shorting anyone. That's what hurts these companies and the little guy, is when the hedge funds come out and short down a company like AMC, who's trying to raise capital with with shares, with a share offering, and we get obliterated. That's not retail doing that. Some of it might be, right? There's some retail investors out there who I'm sure shorted it, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about shorting anything. I agree with you that is a bad thing for American companies. I get that. It shouldn't be a practice. I think that that's allowed because eventually people figure shit out, right? If you're out there and you got an IPO and your company is trash, eventually the market will figure that out and the price action will reflect that. And if you go bankrupt, you go bankrupt. But a legit company that's been around for 100 years, that's such a staple of Americana like AMC, to me is a different story, right? Trying to short them down on a business, you're talking about eliminating tens of thousands of jobs, plus all the infrastructure and plumbing that goes into keeping those places afloat, right? So in that way, yes, I agree with you. That would be what a vulture does, right? But I mean, they're trying to drive AMC into bankruptcy because it will make them the most money on their short positions. And when I first bought this stock, I said, there's no way AMC is going bankrupt. And that was 2.5 years ago. And even though it's cost us a ton of money in just the very recent past, it hasn't gone bankrupt, right? AMC's been able to keep their head above water with the help of retail. And I'm glad to see all those people still working. Every time I go into an AMC theater, that they're all getting a paycheck. And that is helping to the betterment of the country overall and keeping the workforce, in work and making money. Kevin says, love Massalorian. Really get a chance to live streams due to my EST in Canada. Super night here. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you, man. And again, I hope I'm not making anyone depressed by this or feel like it's, I'm trying to hold people back from anything or I'm trying to crush your dreams. It's not like that. It's transparency and honesty to me are very important. If you don't have that, then there's, your channel sucks, right? When someone makes a mistake, like I've made many mistakes about this, being able to admit that is important. Anya says, my principle is to invest as wisely as I can, and that's what we all should be doing, right, Anya? Well, Moses says, Mass, I respect that. I understand not putting in more money, but I also respect that you aren't selling what you have even more. Yeah, I mean, look, we're all down heavy on that position. I couldn't physically pull the trigger. I had a chance to do it before the split. I couldn't do it. I had a chance to do it before they even made APE, and I couldn't do it. I had the chance to do it when we were at $72 a share, and I couldn't do it. So looking back now, when do I pull the trigger, right? Oh, man. Censored content says you can't crush anyone's dreams. You don't have enough viewers. Thank you, bro. Oh, man. You guys are the best. Oh, man. It's, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to be able to ever pull the trigger. I don't fucking know. But what I'm saying is going forward, any shares that I purchase, I can't be afraid to pull the trigger if I see a 20, 25%, 30% day or gain. I can't be afraid to do that. And, like I said, I'm not going to go short. I'm not trying to put anyone out of business or out of work. To me, that's just lunacy. Again, I believe that the market eventually figures out if something is a scam, right? You don't necessarily need the shorting. I'd like to see it done away with, but I understand it's an important part of the marketplace right now. That's how price action is affected, and I get all that. But I do think it's a shitty practice. If I was president or if I was in Congress and could change laws, I might try to outlaw that. Period. S. Jackson says for Disney, they have just lost a fight with cable companies. Disney is going down. Yeah, I saw that, right? Yeah. I don't understand what Bob Iger is thinking. Does Disney, do Bob Iger and Disney need BlackRock? Like, I understand they hold a huge position of Disney, and Vanguard and some of these other guys, but what good is an ESG score if no one's there to know about it? Like, and I don't think Disney's going bankrupt, but they're in a lot of trouble right now. If they don't turn things around with inflation and everything else, and I've seen people saying, well, Disney's, they're charging more per day. Less people are coming, yes, but they're charging more per day. So all your concessions got cut in half, right? So let's say in the park, I had 10,000 people yesterday, and today I have 5,000, but I upped the price by $10, right? And that drove out half of the park tickets for that day. Well, how much are you losing on concessions and parking and the hotels and everything else? Like, yeah, that's great that you brought the prices up $10, and there are people who can afford that, and you're making the lines less, but is that long-term sustainability with that business model? I don't know. I don't think so. Billy87, how you doing tonight, man? Good to see you in the chat. He says they want you to think that way because of being down. Yeah, I mean, they want us demoralized. They want us fighting. They want us, just like they're doing to the rest of the country. They're doing it on a larger scale to the rest of the country, what they've been able to do to us as a community, on this smaller scale, right? They've been able to divide and conquer. And this is how they stay rich. Divide and conquer. This is how they stay in positions of power. Yeah, demoralize, divide and conquer. Gorilla Grodd, what's going on tonight, man? Good to see you. Bro Cape says I'm suffering from low self-esteem. Hey, man, right now it is what it is. We got to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and start figuring out other ways to beat these guys. Back to the Future 99 says, hey, Mass, I'm seeing these YouTube ads talking about dollar recall and saying our savings will be converted to digital dollars. What do you think? So I think CBDCs are coming. I saw yesterday there was a video from China. Someone was using their digital ID to pay for groceries at the store. I think that's what the globalists and the elites want. They want us all on a digital system so that they can track everything and be able to clamp down when opposition maybe arises to the establishment. I mean, just think about it. Look what they did with the Freedom Convoy in Canada, right? They took away the ability for people to pay their bills and groceries. Now, they had to pull an emergency act. The prime minister had to ask for emergency or had to invoke emergency powers in order to do that, right? In order to go after people's accounts. And then when they had a fundraiser in order to help fund those people who had their bank accounts frozen, they froze those assets as well. Now, if you don't need to go through all those steps and you have a central bank digital currency that is under the direction of the Fed, who obviously has ties to DC, I think that's a bad combination. I think anyone should be excited for CBDCs. I think it's a little ways off. I don't think it will happen before the 2024 election, and pray to God that it doesn't happen till 2028, if that's the case. But they are trying to suppress right now any dissent against globalism. They are trying to do it. That's what the Freedom Convoy was all about, right? The truckers, it wasn't about being vaccinated. The truckers had a higher vaccination rate than the average any other industry in Canada. They were at a higher vaccinated rate than any other industry. It wasn't about, not getting the vaccine. It was about tracking. That's what they were protesting against. And the government was able to shut it down. And, he's taking a lot of flack for calling those emergency powers. And again, they will create these emergencies just to execute the powers, right? So like what just happened in New Mexico, she called an emergency saying that the people's safety was at risk and tried to suspend the Second Amendment. They're doing the same. It's the same thing, except they're doing with the Second Amendment instead of the First. In supposedly two of the most democratic countries in the world. I think it's a bad idea. Truckers were the best, and that woman who was the leader of the truckers is in court right now fighting. They're trying to lock her up for organizing the protest. She's in court in Ottawa right now. Tony says, Massalorian, don't forget to insert some ads and get paid. I know, man. I know. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make sure I remember that for next time, T. I'm not going to stay on much longer. I'm probably going to stay on for another 10 minutes or so. I got to get some dinner. But yeah, man, CBDCs really worry me. I don't know if they're in our immediate future, but they're definitely down the line. And these governments in North America have gotten extremely authoritarian in the past couple of years. Word on the street was that order to shut down the protesters in Ottawa came from the White House. And I believe that because right now you can see all these Western countries bending a knee to the United States. It's quite amazing. Kevin says, we were forced to be vaccinated. Yeah. Kevin, are you a truck driver? I know you're in Canada. Who did I just see that was in here? Patriot 17 set. Who did I just see? Oh man, I'm way behind the chat. Shit. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up to the chat here. I just saw we had some new people that joined us. Chris Callis, how you doing tonight? He says, we retail saved AMC. Good to see you, Chris. I believe A has stonewalled us every time. Would love to hear what? Would love to hear that. Maybe he's trying to say. Yeah, man, I'm not happy with a lot of his decisions, Chris, right? But I'm invested in the company. And I guess if I believe that he's going to keep stonewalling us, I got to get out of this play. But I think he's trying to at least keep the company afloat and make them profitable with the moves that he's made. And as long as I have the slightest bit of faith in that, I can continue to hold. But I hear you, man. I'm not happy with a lot of the steps he's taken. It hasn't been really as it might seem, but he's up against a lot of forces out there that are pushing this stock down. Um, 24 the money says he rides options to zero. Anything goes says, Mass, what do you think Al's latest attempt to conduct a share count and the website they've created? I didn't know about this. Anything goes. Is this a new thing for Al? I did a video on Al a long time ago. And after I did that video and talked about what I talked about, I didn't watch him anymore. So I have no idea what that is, but I'll take I'll take a look over there and see what he's talking about. Conduct a share count and a website they created. What is it, to like register shares? Anything goes? I'll watch that video when I get out. I'll watch it while I'm having my dinner. Hopefully soon. Kevin says, yep, I'm a trucker. Oh, Kevin, you're a trucker? Oh, awesome, man. Well, shout out to you guys for standing up to the establishment and Trudeau. Good for you, man. Again, do you agree with me that this wasn't about vaccination? This was about being able to track your every movement? Or am I off on that? Because from what I understand, the truckers were some of the most highly vaccinated industries in Canada at the time. But I could be wrong. Kevin. Okay. Oh, Moses says Massalorian truckers were the best. I agree with you, man. I mean, it was funny because Trudeau was going out there and saying that these people were irreprehensible and, they had unjustified thoughts and they were white supremacists. And then you look at the crowd and there's like Sikhs, Indians, white, black, Asian, you name it. But again, Kevin says, from Canada, the America needs to stand up and stop the divide and conquer. We have your back and send our PM to you. No, thank you. You keep him, Kevin. Not a big fan. Cancel Bubble says once they've taken the Second Amendment, the First Amendment is next. Yeah, and they came after the first. I mean, they Biden wanted to put in a misinformation guru. Remember that nutbag who he wanted to make with the Department of Homeland Security? They're coming for it. Make no mistake. They're coming for both. First and second. S. Jackson says, I've considered, me too, bro. That's how I feel. I'm in the same boat. I'm just changing my mentality and thinking on any shares I purchase in the future. And that might not be for everyone, but that's how I'm looking at it going forward. I feel exactly the same as you do. I am just thinking more proactively from the day the reverse split on. And I haven't made a move yet. And I'm glad I didn't because I almost bought in last Thursday when Fidelity went down and we were running up to 13. And now I'll be able to get 2 shares for 1. $17.96 Patriot says, were you able to go back and watch Bigham's live from Sunday? Yeah, I did watch a little bit of it. We talked about it last night, $17.96 Patriot. And what was it? The one tweet. Let me see if I saved it. Hang on. I think I saved. If I didn't, I'm going to pull it up and put it in the description. Yeah, I don't think I bookmarked it. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff that he came up with of how they might be working their way around this. But I didn't get to finish the 1796 Patriot. I didn't get to finish it. I've been trying to make sure I'm better prepared for these live streams and have video clips and be able to pull some of this stuff to show you guys the articles. Obviously, I wasn't that prepared tonight because we almost weren't able to read the Ken Griffen lawsuit. But yeah, I gotta look into that a little more about what he said. 1796 Patriot. Finish that video. I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about. Hey, Kevin, have a good night, man. The boss just pulled you in. All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks for coming by. And stay strong up there. We appreciate you guys standing up for liberty. Sense of Content says Trudeau took his son to Barbie and took his daughter to Oppenheimer to watch the 10-minute BJ scene. Another Ape Day, Wednesday, 13th, 9-share odd lot limit buys, add to 8 buys. F Smart Money, says Sapienta e Veritas. Jackson says, I voted for Polivier on my county vote. Now I'm going to vote him to get Trudeau out. All my money going to Ukraine is making me mad. Seriously, bro. Doc Zeno says, don't forget, massive circus tent canvas and steel tension cable wire goes missing by the ton. Lewis constructing another bra for himself. Absolutely, man. 100%. Headstock Harem, what's going on, man? Headstock Harem says, remember when good old Al promised a Moas? Do you remember when he was trying to charge $49.95 for a monthly fee to be a member of his Bloomberg terminal? And the same video said that the squeeze is less than 90 days away, but he wanted you to sign up for 3 months ahead of time. I mean, it's crazy, right? Yeah, man, go back and look at some of the videos I did on Al and Lou. Hence why I don't mention them anymore. I mean, it's funny. There's YouTubers out there right now still complaining about Lou versus Wall Street, making videos about him, saying that he's not right. I'm like, where have you been, bro? Like, really? God damn. Pepperidge Farms members, I remember that massive video, says S. Jackson. Oh, man. S. Jackson says, I was walking with protesters and I'm black. I am a white supremacist then. Those people were chill and playing with bouncy castles. I know, man. It was what he said was authoritarian. And the fact that he took away your guys' ability to pay your bills and feed your children, fucking, he's got to go, right? Just like the governor of Mexico, she should have already been arrested. But again, guys, this is what I'm talking about the uncertainty of our future. And this goes for you guys in Canada too. I don't know what they're going to do to keep this shenanigans going. I mean, the president is out to lunch. And I don't know who's really running the country, who's pulling the strings. But I don't think they want to relinquish their power to anyone. And I think they are scared of repercussions that could be coming if they do lose power. So I'm trying to imagine what would they do? What could possibly keep them from getting unelected in 2024? And I think the border has something to do with it, with open border policy since 2021. Again, 10 million migrants from all over the world. That's more than 31 U.S. states' populations. Now, what happens when those people get restless? They don't have jobs, right? They can't stay in the hotels anymore. There are people out front protesting them. Well, what happens then? Are they going to get anxious? Are they going to be upset that they came here and they were promised all these things and they're not getting them? Is the government going to placate these people, or are they going to start rioting? I don't know. And then will people just stand by and let their towns burn down like they did in 2020? Again, the double, the 1-2 punch with lockdowns and the riots was enough to just barely put them over the top. Again, I haven't seen a Biden bumper sticker, hat, or shirt in the last 2 years. Again, I want to meet one of the 81 million who voted for this guy. Everyone I talked to, most people didn't vote at all. But I've yet to find one of the 81 million. Old Moses says, I hope their whole house of cards come down. Me too, bro. Me too. Censored Content says they stopped the last Biden interview when he said he wanted to go to sleep. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they're gonna run him in a couple months, head to head against Trump. I don't know how we got here. I really don't. We might actually be in the we are here and the hedgies are playing their undoing, and tomorrow we wake up at a share price of 500. And S. Jackson, that's why I'm not touching my shares that I bought before today. Well, before the split, sorry. Yep, because you just don't know. And again, I'm not selling at that price anyways. So if that day comes, I wake up and we're at 500, I got plenty of shares. In the meantime, I'm going to be looking to take some nibbles at the apple. Like I went for the whole thing, and so far that hasn't worked out. So I'm going to readjust my strategies. I just thought it was important to come out here and tell you guys that. Devil May Rage says, Biden didn't even make it to 9/11 Memorial today. Nope. Kamala was there. No, just be aware of what's going on right now. The questions being posed to Kamala Harris are you ready to take over every mainstream media outlet she's done the last couple of weeks has been, are you ready to take over? She's ready to take over. They put Kamala Harris front and center at the 9/11 memorial. While Biden, think about it, while the president is 4,000 miles away in Alaska, couldn't be further from ground zero. What does that tell you? They've lost faith in their leader, clearly. I don't know what the end game is, but be ready for anything. It's like Weekend at Bernie's for 2.5 years. All right, guys, I'm going to go grab some food. I am wiped out, exhausted. Trying to think. Either tomorrow night or Wednesday night, we'll do this again. Let's see where we kind of move tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know when I get back into this post split, when I take up a new position, and we can kind of follow it and see what's going to happen. I'll do some more lives. We can keep the conversation going. Listen, I just want to say I really hope I didn't discourage anyone tonight, and I hope everyone understands that it's just important, I think, to be transparent and let you guys know what's going on. You've been very loyal and subscribed and continue to come to the live streams and the chats and everything. So, I feel like I have an obligation to my audience, and I have a love for you guys, right? An affinity for you guys. And I think it's important that we be honest. So, again, I'm calling out my mistakes. I'm calling out my rethinking and what my plan is going forward. I know it's not for everyone, but I just think, the divide and conquer has worked. And here we are. We're kind of splintered right now. And, I don't want to affect anything that's happened in the past, but going forward, my mentality's got to change. I think I've been living in too much of an echo chamber the last couple of years. And, I don't see a bright future for the country as a whole, and I'm worried. And I hope the strikes are over soon. I hope they get back to work like real soon. I don't want to be around still holding on for dear life when, when the time comes due and we have nothing to put on the big screen. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that hopefully bring an end to that soon. I think, right now in the immediate future, we want to see an end to that strike, right? That's important for all of us who are holding AMC. Got to get that strike to come to an end. We got to get back into the studios and producing. Again, I hate to crush the little guy. I don't want to see the union worker get stepped on. And I hope they can work something out between them, sooner than later. United we stand. Sounds good, man. Good night, you guys. I love you so much. I hope everyone has a great night, and I hope I didn't discourage anyone tonight. Thank you for everyone who stopped by. My mods, Prometheus, MC, I saw in there. Who else did I see? Lucy was there tonight. Thank you guys for coming in the chat. Rands, I saw. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through all the BS. All right, guys. Have a good night. Keep your heads up, and we'll talk tomorrow.